and simplify our answer. So formula for area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So that's going to be 8 x to the third, y to the fifth, times 3x to the first, y to the second, all divided by 2. We'll combine together what we need, which is 8 times 3 divided by 2, which is going to give us 12. And then we have x to the third times x to the first. So we take our exponents, add them together, so we get x to the fourth power. And then we do the same thing with our y's, y to the fifth, y to the second, y to the seventh power. And that's area of our triangle in the simplest form. So today we're going to talk about surface area and volume of prisms and cylinders. You guys have seen this before, hopefully, somewhere down the line, maybe 6th, 7th, 5th grade, somewhere around there. So we have lateral surface area. Lateral just means that we're talking about no bases. So surface area is the area of all the sides. This one's going to be all the area of all the sides, but without the bases. If you look at the formula, lateral area is perimeter times height. Big P, perimeter. Little h stands for height of the prism. So that's going to be the height between the bases. Okay, the reason why I put cylinders and prisms together, because anytime you have a prism or a cylinder, it always has two bases, so they follow the same formula. Now, if I want total surface area is going to be lateral surface area. Perimeter times height, right? That's your lateral area. Plus 2b. The reason why it's 2b, what do you think b stands for? Big B stands for 2 times area of the base. So this big B is area of the base whenever you have a cylinder or prism. You always have two bases. So once we find the area of one of the bases, we'll multiply by 2. We'll double it. So if I want formula for volume's, how much can fit in this shape. Big B, of course, is area of the base. And H is going to stand for height of the prism or cylinder, which is the distance between the bases. So the first one, I wanted to give this to you because this one is actually a rectangular prism, which means you can pick any two sides that are parallel for the bases. In this case, I'm going to take this rectangular prism. I'm going to shade this side and this side. It's called a rectangular prism because the base shape will be a rectangle. Now I'm going to use those as my bases. You don't have to use those as your bases. You could use two other sides. Those are the sides that I picked. Okay, if I want SA is total surface area. Total surface area is perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base, and volume is just area of the base times the height of the prism. So if we can find these things, we're good to go. So first thing I want to do is let's look for the height. Well, the height is the distance between the bases. So here's my height, which is 13. Okay, so I know H is 13. Things I need to know about the base, I need to know the perimeter of the base. So perimeter of the base, so I have my base shape right here. Well, it just so happens that this is 9 because 9's over here. So 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7. And you get perimeter is 32. And then if I want area of that base, which is big B, which is area, that's just going to be base times height, so that's 9 times 7, which is 63. So now we know all the parts of this thing. If we want to find total surface area, we just take all the sides. We can find the area of all the sides and add them together, or you can use this formula, which is perimeter, which is 32, times the height of the prism, which is 13, plus 2 times area of the base, which is 63. This will give us total surface area. Thirty-two times 13 is 416. And 2 times 63 is 126. So this is area of both the bases. This is your lateral area. And then we add them together. And we end up getting total surface area is 542 areas feet squared. If I want to find volume, which is how much all of that shape is together, I just take area of the base, which is 63, and multiply it by the height, which is 13. Volume is 819. Volume's three-dimensional, so this is feet cubed. So you should try to do the next three examples on your own, and then pause the video and then come back and see if you did it correctly. These are triangles, and if you look, these are right triangles. Well, if you want area of the base, remember the triangle formula is 1/2 base times height. That's little b now times the height. Base and height have to be 90 degrees to each other. That's why I picked 9 and 12 when I found the area of just the triangle. The height of the actual prism is 16 because that's the distance between the two bases. And perimeter is just when you add up all the sides of that triangular base. And then I just plugged it into the formulas. I got 576 meters squared for lateral surface area that does not include the bases. And then the volume of this was 702 meters cubed. Since this is a right triangle, you may have to use Pythagorean theorem. It just so happens that they gave us the bottom of this as, or the hypotenuse of the right triangle was 15, but you may have to use Pythagorean theorem to figure that out, or one of your special right triangles. So on the next picture, this is called a trapezoidal prism, which means that the bases have to be trapezoids. So if you look, kind of what I highlighted here, let's see if I can turn my transparency down a little bit. So your trapezoid, you have 2 of them. Here's the first one. Now this particular shape is not, a lot of times you guys want to say, oh, my base is what it's sitting on. Well, in this case, it's not. Your base is a trapezoid. And in this case, actually, our trapezoid is not sitting on its base. It's actually like tilted to its side. So if those are your 2 bases, your height has to be the distance between the bases. So that's why we picked 9 there for your height. And I had to do some things separately. I had to find the perimeter of the trapezoid, and then I had to find the area of the trapezoid. Don't forget, area formula for a trapezoid is half of base 1 plus base 2 on the trapezoid times the height of the trapezoid. So I plugged all that in, got the area of the base. Then I just plugged it into my total surface area formulas and my volume formula. And then lastly, for a cylinder, I want to keep this in exact form. So since I'm going to be using a circle, that means I'm going to have pi in my answer. So in this case, we're still going to use the same formulas, but when you see this perimeter actually is going to be talking about circumference because we're talking about a circle. Circumference is the perimeter of the circle. So when we did our circumference formula, that's 2 times pi times radius, which I did down here below. Area of the base is pi times radius squared. And then I just plug that into my formulas to find lateral surface area, which is just the surface area around the cylinder, not including the top and the bottom. Total surface area includes the bases, the area of the top and the bottom. And then volumes, like how much volume is there, so I can fill this up with milk or rice or whatever. So do your exit ticket and turn it into Google Classroom. This is a triangular prism, so the bases are triangles. So a little hint here is that your bases are the triangles. So that's going to be my base. So I'm going to shade those two. Okay, good luck.